Hello, my name is David Simpson, and today I will be presenting my personal review of Windows 8 and one of its new features, Tap and Do and Tap and Set Up. We'll also be presenting two applications which I would recommend for Windows 8 users. So first we'll start with my personal review of the Windows 8 operating system. This operating system appears to be a direct adaptation of the Windows Phone operating system, using Windows and apps on the screen. As such, this operating system tends to be more of an entertainment platform than one truly designed for productivity. Many of the new features of this operating system come directly from the smartphone applications, as I've said. So a quick overview of some of the newer features that are incorporated with Windows 8 is the Tap and Do, which I will touch base on more detailed in a moment, touchscreen manipulation, the new desktop layout, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, and applications as a focus of this operating system. Through the store, you can purchase applications to personalize your actual operating system. So before I get into the functions of the features Tap and Do and Tap and Set Up, we need to cover NFC. So NFC stands for Near Field Communication. This is a chip that is present in smartphones primarily, but is starting to take place in actual computers at this point. When you have two devices equipped with the NFC chips, they are capable of transferring info through radio frequency. This is similar to RFID, except that this has two-way communication instead of only one way. Once items are chosen to be shared, the devices need only be within range or tap together to actually start the transfer of info. Now, the features Tap and Do and Tap and Set Up we'll go through individually. Tap and Do is a new feature included with Windows 8 that is being used in smartphones up until now. Computers equipped with the proper hardware, both having the NFC chips built in, are capable of facilitating the transfer of info from one item to the other without use of internet or removable media. As I said, this is dependent upon the presence of an NFC chip in both pieces of equipment, though. So, as this feature is using radio frequency to transfer info, it is not very fast. The speeds reported are about 0.424 megabits per second, which is about a quarter of the speed of Bluetooth. So this feature would probably be best suited for occasions when there's no internet access or removable disk. Other than that, it's not really feasible as a usable device, more of like a party trick at this point. On the other hand, the Tap and Set Up feature, which I really prefer, this again requires the existence of an NFC chip, but this feature actually will establish a link with wireless devices for you. All you have to do is simply tap the device to the computer and it will pair the device to the computer. There's no need for you to enter a PIN number or go through a complicated setup process to establish links for items like wireless keyboards, a mouse, headphones, or speakers anymore. You just simply tap the device to the computer and it will go ahead, set it up, and establish it so you can start to use it immediately. Now, upon learning of this feature, my immediate response was that of the security concern. If you're just broadcasting through radio frequency, what are the possibilities for interception or other nefarious actions to be done against this type of communication? As I researched this further, it came to me that because the actual distance you're able to actually transmit is very small, everything was showing for most applications 10 centimeters between the two pieces of equipment that are transferring data. This would make it very difficult for a threat agent to actually intercept the transmission because they would have to be practically right beside you to actually intercept this data. And even with equipment to amplify radio frequencies, you're still only looking, I believe it was 1 meter was the maximum distance they were saying, that with proper equipment, which would be costly and not truly worthwhile, to be able to intercept the info would be 1 meter. There's actually greater potential for this type of communication to be jammed by threat agents using equipment to overpower the radio signal of the NFC chips. This would be their equivalent of a denial of service attack. The other potential issue, security-wise, is a pickpocket-style malware infection, where the threat agent would actually load a file that they had put a redirect file on. So it would be a small file with just a redirect, and they would walk by and glancing blow into you to actually tap the two devices together to transfer the redirect onto your computer, so it would redirect to the actual malware. So as far as these security concerns go, it's a pretty simple thing to avoid. Even with the pickpocket style malware infections, the easiest way to avoid this is simply to turn off your NFC chip so this function is not active at all times. Like I said, the actual transferring of data is not the greatest point of this feature. I believe the tap and setup is honestly the best use of these NFC chips. We will roll into some of the applications that I found that I really thought were going to be handy. The apps I've found and I'm going to present to you is, the first one is Windows 8 Cheat Keys. And this app is free of charge, and what it does is it provides daily hints and tips for Windows 8 users. It will actually provide a couple hints per day on the actual desktop. They only provide a couple hints per day, so you are not overloaded with new material, and there's a better possibility of you retaining the material you've learned. Also included in this, you can search for tips from Windows or within the app to actually search for items that are specific to what you're trying to accomplish at that moment. This program can help ease the transition to the new operating system and make you more productive in the use of Windows 8. So you can see here, this is just a screenshot of the Windows 8 cheat sheets, and it explains a couple of the actual functions you can use by pairing the Windows key with other keys. The next application that I am recommending is called LandScan. This app is also free of charge, and what it does is it creates a simple map of the current user's local area network. This will provide a list of all discoverable devices on the network and give a name for it and its IP address. It will also provide information such as your IP range, your subnet, your domain, your public and private addresses. As we step over to the next screen, you see an actual screenshot of LandScan, and on the left you see the address of the actual computer that this was run from, the network mask, the first usable and last usable IP addresses in the range, the number of usable addresses, gateway address, DNS server address, domain name, and external address. And to the right you see all the devices that were discoverable on the actual network, and it will tell what type of protocols they are using. I did not get to honestly go through and play with it too much, but it does seem that it will actually respond with what port numbers are active also in a separate screen. So here we have just some of the works that I read up on to actually cover primarily the NFC chip was of the greatest concern to me. At this point, I will conclude with saying that, first off, if you are looking to upgrade to Windows 8, I would say it's not worthwhile because your computer will not have the equipment or hardware that will be necessary to fully utilize the operating system to its best extent. A touchscreen, an NFC chip. Without these items, it's not really worth the upgrade. Second off, even if you are buying a new computer with Windows 8, it will be a huge learning curve to actually be able to make it productive. At this point, I would just hold the operating system you have and wait for them to fine-tune these newer features that they are playing with Windows 8. And that is the end of our discussion. Good luck for those taking on Windows 8. Have a nice day.